Hey everybody, Lord Tremendous here. Got another battle report here for you. Sorry it's been a while since I've posted. It's the summer. I've got an actual social life and a family. I know it's weird. I don't know how it happened. But yeah, I've been out of town. No laptop with me, so I haven't been able to post any battle reports. It would have been a little weird in the hotel with the family and everything like that. You'd have heard him in the background ridiculing me, and oh, actually that might have been cool. Who knows? But anyway, it is I, Lord Tremendous of the Ogre Cons, versus Big Daddy of the Vampire Coven. So even though I've been gone for a little over a week now, I come back to you with a hell of a game. So sit back, relax, and get ready to see how this one goes. Here's my list, and I don't believe there's any changes on this one. I think you've seen this list before. I have my Lord, my great shaman, Kaka Shabadu. He's a level 3 wizard with Screaming Swords, Demon Heart, Talisman of Greater Shielding, and he uses the Path of Butchery. So yeah, no change there. Next up, I have my hero choices. I have my Khan. He's my BSB. I gave him the Flesh Render, the Mithril Mail, Talisman of Lesser Shielding, and Rotten Jaw. This guy's dangerous as hell. Next up, I have my Shaman, the Combuster. He's a level 2 wizard with Skull Splitter, and he uses the Path of Fire. Now, of course, the man, the myth, the legend, my Mammoth Hunter, Lord Tremendous. He's got an Ogre Crossbow, the Heart Ripper Iron Fists, Yeti Furs, the Gem of Dragonfire, Troll Eater, and his Tusker War Teddy. I'm sorry, I just like it. So, yeah, this guy wins me games, and he also breaks my heart when he dies. Next up, we have my core choices. I got a unit of 7 tribesmen, the good old boys, with Banner Musician, Iron Fist, and Heavy Armor. Then I got a unit of 5 tribesmen, the Inner Council, with Banner, Musician, Iron Fist, Heavy Armor, and the Banner of Discipline. And a unit of 4 bruisers, the Dour Ones. These guys usually get the poop end of the stick. Next up, I have my special choices, which we have 6x Scrappling Trappers, the favored pets. Then, of course, I have my 6x Merc Vets, the Storm of Retribution. They have a Banner, Musician, Iron Fist, Lethal Strike, Thunderous Charge, and Banner of Speed. These guys just melt faces. I love them. And, of course, my Kin Eater, Lady Elizabeth. You do not want to fight her. And, of course, I now have my rare choice, the Frost Mammoth, Rufus. He's got a couple of Ogre Crossbows on his crew, but who cares about them? Rufus is the name of the game right here. And my final thing is the Rock-a-Rock, and I gave the rider a Lance. Really not sure how I feel about the Rock-a-Rock. He's really falling out of favor with me, so might be one of the last times to see him. Might be, the beginning of a really long and beautiful relationship with him. I don't know yet. But anyway, that's going to do it for my list. Next up is my opponent's list. I'm going to play some music. Feel free to pause it to see what he took at any time you choose. Here are my spells, which are exactly what you're looking at. And here are his spells, which are exactly what you're looking at. His level 2 has these spells, and his other 2 level 1 casters have the base spell, the invocation or whatever it is. Here's deployment, and to be perfectly honest with you, I got to go first, so I just set everything up. So as you can see, I throw everything right in the middle. I know he's got a lot of stuff. He's playing undead. I know it's not going to be an elite army or anything like that, so I just lined all my stuff up in the middle. I got my Merc Vets and my big unit of tribes with my BSB in the middle there, with my Frost Mammoth Rufus backing them up. I got the Rock right in the middle. I'm kind of hoping maybe to use the forest as cover if there's anything they can shoot at him, if that occurs. I've got my inner council in the forest with the what's it called, scrappling trappers who have trapped the forest, and the idea there is if anything charges them, they got to take a whole bunch of DT tests. I've got the dour ones and Lord Tremendous on the right side there to go after whatever shows up, and I got the combustor on the left flank to take care of anything like that. So I got my flanks covered, I got the meat in the middle, and I got a forest trapped pretty good. That's what I'm hoping for. And apparently I just leveled up. Outstanding! Here's my opponent's right flank, which consists of 2 units of skirmishing ghouls. And here's the center. From left to right, those are wraiths in the ruins there. They are skirmishing. He's just got them lined up on the tray for, convenience, and I totally get that. Then he's got a big unit of dire wolves in the middle there. Right next to him is another unit of dire wolves with his general in there, his vampire lord or whatever. Next to them are 2 units of bat swarms, and next to him you can kind of see one of his shrieking horrors or something like that. I think there's a better picture in a second. Ah, yes, I was right. My opponent's left flank here. There's 2 shrieking horrors and 2 little vampire guys on the Revenant Nightmares or something like that. Monstrosities, something like that. Basically, just a lot of fast flying pain. I don't know what I'm going to do against these guys. Here's my right flank, which is really just consists of the proxied Lord Tremendous, and the reason he's proxied is because my wife's currently painting him, which is awesome because the next time you see him, he's going to look really good. And here's my center. From right to left, there's my bruisers, my tribesmen with my general, and my proxied Rock. And my left flank consists of my big unit of tribesmen, my BSB, Rufus, my Merc Vets, and the Combustor. So here's top of 1 after movement, and on the left flank I have no fear whatsoever. So I send my Merc Vets up there full 14. They have the banner speed, so they're moving 7, and they show it. Rufus and the tribesmen do a little bit of a traffic jam, but I don't think I'm going to be charging next turn anyway, so who cares. Rufus just wants to get up there so he can shoot at something and whatever, and the tribesmen just want to back him up. My other unit of tribesmen move into the forest just for better cover. The dour ones move up as bait. Lord Tremendous and the Rock move over to the right to try to start dealing with all the flying monsters and terrifying stuff over there. That's where I think the biggest problem is going to be. Nothing happens in the magic phase. He just stops it cold. So we go into shooting, and the Combustor is able to use Skull Splitter to kill 2 or 3 of the ghouls. I can't remember how many. It looks like 3, and I mean, it's something at least, right? So we go over here to bottom of 1 after movement because I'm not able to do anything else during my turn. And here they come. As you can see on the right flank there, everything that can fly shoots towards Lord Tremendous. It's almost as if he's got a personal vendetta against him, and that hurts my feelings. But I get it too. His bats come up to screen, his dogs and everything come up. I mean, he's being very aggressive with this army, and I'm impressed. I like it. On the left flank there, his ghouls kind of group up a little bit. I don't fully know why. Maybe to just further chaff me up. Maybe make them a more difficult target for something. I'm not really sure, but they group up a little bit there, so they don't have quite the frontage they did before. And that's really about it. Things are just coming up in the middle a little bit slower, but what can you do? I'm sorry, that wasn't entirely true. His wraiths did charge my scrappling trappers, which fled, and they didn't flee very far, but luckily for me, the wraiths only rolled like a 3 or something like that to come forward, so that's why they didn't move up very much. My bad, sorry. During the magic phase, he got a big magic phase, so I popped my demon heart just because I wasn't sure what he was going to try to do. I wasn't sure I couldn't remember what he had, so I popped my demon heart. He tries to cast a spell. I dispel it, but he rolled doubles, which was great because it helped get rid of his magic phase, and he ends up rolling a miscast 8, which honestly doesn't do anything. I'm not able to hurt him. He doesn't take any damage to any of his casters because I'm just rolling low to wound, and so all it really does is end his magic phase, but for 25 points, that's so much better. So then we go into the shooting phase, and this friggin' shrieking horror screams at Lord Tremendous, does like 6 wounds, and 4 got through. He dies. First thing, my opponent murderlates him. Ah, you bastard! I mean, well played on my opponent. I thought I was far enough back. I wasn't anywhere close to far enough back. I don't think the green Shrieking Horror would have been able to scream at me, but luckily it didn't matter. 6 auto wounds and 4 got through, and I die. So that sucks. So then we go over here to top of 2 after movement with a heavy heart, and now I'm a little pissed off. So the Rock charges the Shrieking Horror that killed Lord Tremendous. The Dour ones charge the Bat Swarm and make it in there, and that's just chaff clearing. Elizabeth comes onto the table, and she's going to go after the bats or the dogs. I haven't decided which yet. And the rest, the Merc Vets go into one of the units of skirmishing ghouls. Just, time to start cleaning up the dead. Why not, right? My Frost Mammoth, Rufus, he comes up on the hill to continue shooting at stuff. The Combustor moves over. He gets onto the hill a little bit so he can shoot. I didn't want to march him otherwise, so I could use the Skull Splitter. My tribesmen back up a little bit because I don't want to be charged by the wraiths, and my trappers fail to rally and continue running. So it was an active movement phase. Here's a better picture of my Rock making a charge, or making it into combat with this Shrieking Horror, and I'm very curious to see how he's going to do against this monster. I want him to do well for numerous reasons. I really want this thing to work out, but if he doesn't, well, we'll see. And there's a better picture of the Dour one slamming into the bats, and this is just, again, chaff clearing. You got to deal with them, and so I'm trying to. During the magic phase, I get the medium level fireball off on the wraiths. Unfortunately, due to some bad rolls, I'm only able to kill 1. And when I use the Raging Fire lore attribute, it didn't do anything. So, hey, I got 1. It's a start. And then in the shooting phase, thanks to Skull Splitter, I was able to kill, I think, another one. And you know what? I'll nickel and dime them all day. I don't care. So we go into combat. And I do 5 wounds with impact hits, to which my opponent is able to save 3 with his 6-up regen. And so that was painful, to say the least. Then I attacked, and I did another 4 wounds, and he's able to save 2 with regen. So I think I only did like 4 or 5 wounds. In return, he does 4 wounds to the Rock. It really, really blew my mind just how bad the Rock was in combat. I know my opponent made a lot of 6-up regens. He made 4 6-up regens out of 8 wounds or something like that. And I understand that was a 1 in a million thing or whatever, but I'm big on taking hints. And I'm starting to think that maybe the Rock just isn't for me. In the end, I end up doing 5 wounds total this thing because we both do 4 wounds to each other, and I have a charge, so I win by 1, and so he takes 1 wound or something like that. In the end, it has 5 wounds on him, and the Rock is screwed. So 250 points worth of just free points to my opponent pretty much every game except for 1. Think that he might have to get swapped out for something else. Over here, however, the Dour ones do really, really well. Bats, I did not know this, are distracting, so I needed 5s to hit them. Luckily for me, I did the impact hits, and they both wounded. I was able to hit with the majority of my attacks because I was rolling 5s out of the box all of a sudden. And wounding them with Strength 6 wasn't difficult. In return, they weren't able to do anything to me. I think the 1 or 2 wounds that they did do to me, I was able to armor save on a 5-up, which was amazing. And with combat res and damage and all that stuff, the unit wipes and vapes, so that was awesome. I'm not going to overrun into an impassable terrain, so I turned to face the dogs in such a way that if they did charge me, especially with his general in the unit and everything like that, they'd destroy the Dour ones, and then overrun into the garbage combat with the Rock, making it easier for me to contain and hopefully destroy at some point. So this combat actually went really well. Combat over here went really well as well. Well. Anyway, they were able to destroy all the ghouls, and they did take 2 wounds for their troubles. So the ghouls did not go down without a fight, but they did go down, and that's what's important. I turn my guys around afterwards I reform my guys to face the middle so that they can get into a combat and continue face melting, because that's what they do. So with all that done, we go over here to bottom of 2 after movement, and as you can see, they all go into the Rock. One of his characters on the Revenant Monstrosity or whatever slams into the front corner of the Rock. The other Shrieking Horror slams into the flank of the Rock, and then he's got his other character on a Monster Revenant that charges through a little gap. He can fly, so he can do it. Into the flank of the dour ones. I did not see that, so well played on my opponent. His general charges out of the dire wolves into trying to get into my tribesmen in the forest, and I stand thinking that he'd take DT tests. Maybe I'd get lucky. He's on a spectral steed or whatever, so it's ethereal when it goes through stuff like that. It wouldn't have taken any DT tests, so whoops. And other than that, his wraiths move over to threaten my Merc Vets, which is not good because they don't have any magic attacks in there. And the rest of his stuff, his ghouls kind of move around in the ruins over there to come after the Merc Vets as well, but I'd love for them to get in there. And his bats turn to face Lady Elizabeth, which is just them accepting their fate. Other than that, not a whole lot of movement. There's a better picture of everything just dogpiling my Rock. And to be perfectly honest, this thing has fallen out of favor with me, so I don't really care. I've made my decision with the Rock, unfortunately. And there's a better picture of one of his vampire courtiers, or however you say that, slamming into the flank of my dour ones, which is really bad. And there's a better picture of his general failing a charge, which is really, really good. During the magic phase, despite my best efforts, he was able to heal all but one wound off the wounded Shrieking Horror. The one that only had one wound on it, or one wound left, now only has one wound on him, period, which sucks. And then I think in the shooting phase, the green one screams at the Rock and finishes him off. Just murder death kills him, no problem. And it eats at my soul. It really does. That big monster is just no good for me, which is sad. And like I said, I'm pretty sure that happened in the shooting phase. It might happen in close combat. But either way, here's where they ended up after their reforms. The vampire courtier guy, he overran forward. The green Shrieking Horse stayed right where he was at, and the red one just reformed a little bit to look towards the center. We go to combat over here, and it goes exactly how you would expect. Two of my bruisers get killed, but they are able to slip a wound through back on this guy. And strength 6 is still nothing to, scoff at or anything like that. But with his charge and his flank and like 5 wounds, I'm hurting pretty bad. I think it was 6 wounds total, actually. So I lose this combat, I break, and we get ran down. The bruisers usually, like I said, get the poop end of the stick, and in this one, they really, really did. They did slip a wound through on this guy prior to him doing that, and that's nice. And my opponent did overrun like 11 inches, or I'm sorry, pursue 11 inches, which he did not want to do. So it kind of worked out in the end. So here we go over to the top of 3 after movement, and there's a little bit. My Merc Vets were able to see the dire wolves in the ruins, so they charge and they made it, but they lose a guy due to dangerous terrain checks on the way in, which, hey, that's what you get for being the elite guys. You're going to get put into the thick of it. The rest of my guys move up. I decide not to charge his character because I got enough problems coming down the pipe. Elizabeth does charge the other unit of bats because why not? Might as well try to take him out as quick as possible. My tribesmen, Rufus, and the Combustor come up on the hill. The Combustor's going to throw everything he has at the wraiths to try to take them out before they get into combat with me. And the tribesmen hang back a little bit, and I'm going to rely on dangerous terrain checks, hopefully, to do some damage to his characters if they come after me. As well as my tribesmen rally. I'm not my tribesmen, damn it, my trappers rally. So, that's something. Nope, that's not entirely true. My tribesman, my BSB, did try to charge the character through the forest, and I rolled like a snake eyes or something. I missed by a mile, so I'm sorry, I forgot. I was wrong. It'll happen again. And there's a better picture of a Lady Elizabeth slamming into the bats, and hopefully she takes care of them as easily as the bruisers did. And there's a better picture of the Merc Vet slamming into the flank of the dire wolves, and it was just a target of opportunity. Like I said, I did lose one of my guys to dangerous terrain checks. What can you do? During the magic phase, finally, something starts going my way. I get the big 3d6 fireball off. I throw like 4 or 5 dice at it. It goes off, and I kill 5 of them. And Raging Fire helped too. I think I killed 4 with the Fireball, and Raging Fire picked 1 up. So I got the spare, leaving just 1 of the little bastards standing up. So that's much more manageable now. And then I was able to get Troll's Heart off on these guys on my inner council, because I know they're getting charged next turn. So regen should help. And just in case, I got Teeth Cracker off on these guys, giving them +1 toughness. So I need the augments. I'm really on the back foot here. So we go into combat, and Elizabeth has a little trouble holding these guys down. In the end, with combat res and everything like that, I'm able to do a total of 7 wounds to the unit, which is excellent. But they're still there, and they're going to be there for a little while at this rate. So that kind of sucks. But she's got the upper hand. They weren't able to do anything to her, so I'm in a turn or two. Hopefully she'll be able to kill them and get into something else. And in combat over here, holy crap. Yeah, my Merc Vet's having 0 trouble just decimating the entire unit. It does require, the combat res and everything like that, but the whole unit dies, and then they turn to face this way because it was so much fun they want to do it again. So we go over here to bottom of 3 after movement when all was said and done, and here comes the apocalypse. His general, his vampire courtier guy, and one of his shrieking horrors slams into my inner council. It was like all my worst nightmares coming true all at once. Really, really sucked. His general obviously didn't have to take any dangerous terrain because he's ethereal. However, his little courtier on the flying thing or whatever did, and he failed 1 or 2. So the guy's only got like 1 wound left. So there's a chance I can kill one of his characters, which would be nice. The little shrieking horror thing did charge my trappers first, and they fled. They just failed their terror check. They fled, and then he redirected into the tribesmen. So that worked out for him really, really nice. His direwolves move up to threaten, I guess, my tribesmen with my BSB. I'm not really sure. His Wraith, I think, did try to charge my Combustor or Rufus and failed. And the unit of skirmishing ghouls can't march, so they moved up as far as they could and stood right there. That was it for movement. There's a better picture of the wet mess that this combat is. And there's a better picture of what actually happened with the trappers. The green shrieking horror tried to charge the trappers. They failed their terror check and fled, and that's where they ended up. And that's where the failed charge for the green, or the green shrieking horror ended up. My bad. During the magic phase, my opponent's able to get Steel Youth off on my inner council. It doesn't do any damage, but I let it go because I know this unit's dead. They're about to steal soul from them, so I didn't care about a few extra wounds if he got anything. But yeah. And then after all is said and done, he's able to basically band-aid up his character who's only got 1 wound left on him. Or 1 wound on him now when he had like 3 before. So I've got my work cut out for me. However, to get one of his spells off, the last spell off that healed a wound, he miscast to do it. And he ended up miscasting 10, which lost him his wizard level. So he's no longer a wizard. It's a little something, but I'm hoping that by the end of this combat I have killed this guy. So we'll see. So we go into combat, and my unit really didn't do terrible. We did end up killing the vampire courtier guy or whatever on the right. He's dead. I didn't do wounds anywhere else, but I only took a little bit of damage. I lost a guy. I think I took 5 wounds total. And considering the amount of damage that was coming at me, it was significant. However, I did lose combat, and that sucks. I lost by a decent amount too. I think I was steadfast. I'm not 100% on that, but no, I wasn't steadfast because the majority of me was in the forest. So we take the break check, and we break, and they run me down, no problem. But his general is exposed. His shrieking horror is exposed. Took some damage going through the forest. So I'm thinking maybe I have a chance here. My intention is to slam into his general and hopefully start forcing some crumble tests and maybe even get lucky and overrun into his other character and make it so that he has no master anymore and they all die. That was the hope, and just trying to make the best out of a bad situation. Then in combat over here, I whiff terribly. Elizabeth not only fails to do any damage whatsoever, but she takes a wound. I lose this combat, but she's unbreakable, but damn! That sucked. So we go over here to top of 4 after movement, and I go for it, all in, right? My tribesman slam into his general, and the hope there is to just murder death kill this guy with combat res. I don't know how much damage he's going to be able to do to me, but if I can kill this guy, I mean, that's really the only hope I have. The Merc Vets charge through the ruins once again to slam into the flank of the Direwolves. Why not, right? I do lose another guy to dangerous terrain checks, but I'll take it. My Frost Mammoth moves over to fire some shots into his Shrieking Horror, and my Combustor moves over to shoot at the one remaining Wraith. It was kind of a risk showing the ass end of my Frost Mammoth to this thing, but I was hoping that with Fireballs and Skull Splitters and stuff like that, I would be able to do 2 wounds to this thing and kill it. My Trappers do rally, which is a bonus, and everything else that I have is dead or in combat. There's a better picture of my tribesmen just desperately trying to win me this game. And there's a better picture of my Merc Vets killing themselves to kill dogs. I lost 2 models to dangerous terrain checks. That sucked, but I mean, I've got to do something. During the magic phase, not taking any chance to do a 2d6 fireball at this thing, and it's a good thing too because I only rolled like 3 hits. I was able to do it with fireball and raging fire, taking out the damn wraith and kill securing the unit and saving Rufus from getting rear charge and dead from this guy. And then taking a little bit of a risk, I threw some dice at flaming swords on my tribesman unit just to give them a +1 to wound. And I was worried because I didn't know if he had the dragon vein or the gem of dragonfire or the dragon helm or anything like that, so it was a little bit of a risk, but in the end he didn't, so it was fine. But I just give me that advantage, you know. And of course, last but not least, Rufus throws his bounce spell Blizzard on his general. As you can see, I'm throwing all my cards, just everything I got, into killing his general. That is my one hope, and that's all I got. During the shooting phase, just because I had the shots, the Combustor used the Skull Splitter on the ghouls, killing 1. And, you know, just to let them know that I haven't forgotten about them. And we go into combat, and it works out. My BSB makes way, gets into combat with them. My opponent issues a challenge. My BSB accepts, and he flubs. The -1 to hit from Blizzard, and everything else really, really helped. The 1 wound he did, I was able to 6-up ward save, which is just insane. And then with -5 to your armor save, my guy was able to hit and wound twice, I think. And then with combat res, charge, rank, banner, charging downhill, and 2 wounds to, I think, nothing. He just exploded in combat res and died. So we killed his general, and I was so happy. And here's where they end up after the overrun. I was trying to overrun into their, what's it called? Into the other character, but it was really would have been a super long overrun, and it was still they overran a decent amount. Ended up in the forest, took some dangerous terrain, took a couple of wounds from that, and but ended up right where you see him. But all in all, excellent combat. Then over here, the 3 remaining Merc Vets were able to finish off that unit of dogs, which was outstanding. And then Elizabeth, just tired of the bats, just beats the crap out of him. She does 4 wounds in combat, does a stomp, and they're not able to do anything back to her, and she's able to finish them off, which is glorious. That's it for the phase, so everything starts crumbling. However, my opponent's dice start rolling really low, so for this Shrieking Horror, he only takes 1 wound from crumble checks. Then over here, he rolls the same damn thing and only takes 1 wound on the green Shrieking Horror. And then finally, he takes a couple more wounds on the ghouls. So his crumble checks are actually very, very good, and that's going to bite me in the ass, I have no doubt. So now we go over here to bottom of 4 after movement, and there's a little bit. One flappy guy goes into my Merc Vets, which I'm not overly concerned about. I think if anything could go toe-to-toe with the Shrieking Horrors, it would be my Merc Vets. I'm worried about the Scream, but we'll see what happens. I know what happens, but you're about to find out. His other Shrieking Horror flies over to the hill there and looks at the Combustor, and he wants to kill him. And his remaining character goes over to mess with Rufus, which just isn't okay. The other ghouls, since they can't march, they move up as quick as they can, but, well, they can't march, so they're not moving very quick. That's about it for movement. During the magic phase, he gets Dance Macabre off on the green Shrieking Horror, and I don't know exactly what that does. I think it's like a reroll to hit, a reroll to wound, but it's not good, but he got it off. Nothing I can do about it. And then in the shooting phase, the horror screams at the Combustor and does 2 wounds to him. Not enough to kill him, but definitely enough to make him weaker. I've got to kill this thing fast. And then we go into combat, and we survive. We survive very well, actually. He attacks and everything like that, and we survive. I mean, his attacks were kind of weak. Just his low rolling finally caught up to him, I guess. In return, I'm able to put 4 wounds through on this thing in total. We win combat, and we stay, but I think it's still got like 2 wounds left, and I've still got 3 Merc Vets beating this thing up. So I'm actually very pleased with the Mercenary Veterans. They've done incredibly well this game. So here we are over here at top of 5 after movement, and my tribesmen charge into the flank of the Shrieking Horror that are in with the Merc Vets just to kill secure. Elizabeth comes running up as fast as she can to maybe, threaten this character. Rufus sacrifices himself because we want to take out the other Shrieking Horror, and same with the Combustor. He moves over as far as he can, 6 inches, and the hope is to finish this one off on the hill before it finishes us off. So yeah, I know I'm probably going to lose Rufus. I'm not pleased about it. But I want to kill the Shrieking Horrors more out of spite than anything else. That's about it for movement. My trappers are in range, so I didn't see a reason to move them. There's a better picture of all my remaining ogres, for the most part, slamming into this one horror, and that's the kind of love I want to give these guys. In the magic phase, I do the big fireball, the 2d6 fireball at the Shrieking Horror, and I'm able to slip the last 2 wounds through. As you can see, I rolled 2 6s and kill it. I did exactly what I needed to do to end this damn thing, and I'm glad at least one of them is gone. And then the same thing here. Oh, what a relief. The other Shrieking Horror dies. As you can see, it was able to finish off one of my... I don't remember if that was from dangerous terrain, from charging out of the forest, or if I took some damage or what. But I lose a tribesman, but we finish off the Shrieking Horror, which is huge. The fact that I was able to kill both of those things, I was very proud of, because to be perfectly honest, when I saw 2 of them and all the characters on fly and stuff and all that other garbage around, I was like, oh man, I lost this game in deployment. But as you can see, there's hope. So yeah, very, very pleased with how this round went. So here we are at bottom of 5 after movement, and the only thing that really happens is the character charges into the rear of Rufus. I knew he was going to. I was well aware it was going to happen. Nothing I could do about it. I had to kill those Shrieking Horrors before they could run around and kill everything else. So, yeah, I sacrificed Rufus. I'm a bad person. Also, his ghouls move up as fast as they can. That's about it. There's a better picture of poor Rufus about to just get destroyed. So it happens. We go into combat, and Rufus takes 3 wounds. I think he was able to slip 1 through in return. But charge, rear, 3 wounds to 1 wound. I lose by 5. Rufus has to take a break check. And he breaks, and he gets run down, and my heart breaks. So Sarah's gonna go ahead and get us through this as always. Oh, it was the hardest sacrifice play of my gaming career. So with a deep-seating hatred and need for vengeance, I go into top of 6, and we move up because I can't charge him with anything. He just overran, or pursued way too far for anything to even get a legal charge declaration against him. So the Combustor moves up to just get a hold of this guy and hit him up with the biggest fireball he can muster, and then maybe put some shots into him. The Trappers do the exact same thing, and the rest of my guys stay back because they're not going to do anything. What's the point in moving them? It's top of 6. That's it for movement. In the end, though, it wasn't meant to be. With all the fireballs and shooting that I could put into this guy, I was only able to put 2 more wounds on him. Not enough to kill him, and he lives. I do get half points for him, but well, at the moment I get half points for him, but it was the best I could do. So we go over here to bottom of 6, and my opponent does a long-distance charge with the ghouls into the back of the combustor and does it. Nails it. I was very impressed. I didn't see that happening. I should have, but I didn't. And then his other vampire guy just stays right where he's at to giggle and laugh at the combustor's demise. Other than that, there's nothing in the movement phase. There's a better picture of his ghouls getting a hold of the combustor, and that sucks. I was able to stop his magic phase, and he has no shooting, so we go into combat, and yeah. These guys didn't even need to run him down, because the combustor's naked. He's got the skull splitter and Laura Fire. That's it. So he was able to slip 2 wounds through and kill him. I mean, it was just that simple. The combustor was able to kill 2 of them in return, but it doesn't matter when his mortal coil was shuffled off before we even got the combat res. So excellent final maneuver by my opponent. And there it is. There's the end of the game, everyone. As you can see, it's looking pretty good for the home team. But, man, did I get some lucky shots in on this one. Very, very pleased. Actually, taking out the Shrieking Horrors and his general, killing his general in the end there, that was huge. But taking out Shrieking Horrors is what I was the most proud of in this game. And my Merc Vets, oh my god, did they do work. But you know what? We're going to get to the recap in a minute because I need a drink and you guys need to listen to what Captain Picard says.
Make it so.
So in the end, it was a victory for Lord Tremendous. I got 2,125 out of him. He got 1,593 out of me for a difference of 532 points. I ended up losing Kaka Shabadu, Lord Tremendous, the Combustor, my Inner Council, my Bruisers, Rufus, and the Arakarok. Holy cow. Talk about earning this one. Man, did I have to put in some work. Like I said, taking out his Vampire Lord turned the game on its side, and it's the only reason I won the game. Having him out like that and exposed at the, when they pursued my Inner Council when they broke and got ran down, that was it. That was the turning point of the game, and I got lucky as hell. 2 Shrieking Horrors was a huge challenge, and I loved that I saw it across the table. I really, really did. So having those guys across the, I mean, talk about needing to have your A game on, and even though, I mean, my A game was almost not enough, had he been a little bit more conservative with his general, I would have lost this game hands down. You know, hindsight and all, but what can you do? And then, of course, the Combustor taking out the Wraiths like that. I mean, that is exactly what that character's there for. He's to deal with ethereal, chaff, and everything like that, and the Combustor always comes through. Even though I got him killed in the end. He came through for me, I didn't really come through for him. Then, of course, the Mercenary Veterans, the Storm of Retribution, they were amazing. Easily the best damn unit in the whole game. Took out both units of dogs, took out a unit of ghouls, and finished off a Shrieking Horror. Probably could have done it by themselves, but why take the risk? Holy crap. All while charging through ruins. Wow. I love that unit. It's worth every point of the 405 it's worth. Kaka Shabadu and Inner Council, man, did they get the poop end of the stick in this one. Not as bad as the dour ones, but man, my opponent was really chewing up my center there. And you know what, like I said before, the Rock and me, I don't think are going to be partners for much longer. I'm just not impressed with anything that it's ever done. It did do good against the Dark Elves, but I mean, that could have just been a fluke. Every other game he's been in, you know I'm not being overly aggressive with him, but and I know that this was, lucky shots or lucky regen saves, but I might be looking for a new option. But I've been toying with maybe trying Tusker Cav or something like that. Maybe another unit of mercenaries, like a small unit. I think I can get 4 in with 250 points, 245 instead of the Rock. I don't know. I might take the Scratapult back and bring the Giant back. I kind of miss the Giant. So I've got a lot of different options. I might even try the Bombardiers again. I haven't decided yet. But more and more that I play, the list is really starting to come together. I'm really enjoying most of the units, and so that's awesome. Soon I'm going to have my primary list, and that's going to be awesome. And the fact that my luck hasn't run out yet is really making me nervous. Every time I get in the car, I'm like, this could be it. I'm kidding. I'm going to live forever. But better to be lucky than good, and I am really taking advantage of that. But as always, this was just a fantastic opponent. He always brings me the most, mind-crazy challenges, and I love it. This is just an excellent list to fight against, and it was a terrific game. It really, really was. And as always, I'm always, looking forward to playing against this guy, because he always brings something. It's like, I never would have thought to bring something like that, and it's devastatingly difficult, and I love the challenge. But yes, excellent game, excellent opponent. Super looking forward to the rematch. And then, real quick, thank you to everyone that's donated to my Patreon account and everything. Alex from the Vale Renegades, the South Florida's Gamermancy team, and Daniel Jolson. Thanks, guys. Super appreciate it. That's awesome. And if anybody else is, you know who I'm talking to, if you've donated and you want me to put something on this screen, on this slide, anything you want, as long as it's not too inappropriate, you know what I mean? If you want, if I can put your name, please let me know. If I can put your crew or a message for you or something like that, please let me know. I'll happily do it. It's the least I could do, and thank you again for all the support, everyone. But yeah, guys, that's going to do it for me. Battle Report number 19 is officially in the history books. Please check out my description for all sorts of important links. Everything's on there, from the 9th Age stuff to great model companies that are helping us out, and you can get amazing stuff from. My email, if you want to just tell me what a terrible job I'm doing or whatever. My Patreon link, my PayPal link, everything's on there. So if you want to interact with us in any way, shape, or form, all you have to do is look at the description. It's a click away and maybe a scroll or two, and you're golden. But as always, guys, if you have any comments, concerns, questions, or complaints, feel free to comment in the comment section below, and I will get back to you as quick as I can. But yeah, guys, thanks.